thing that I want to emphasize is managing thoughts. Managing thoughts. One of the things that we have to realize is we have a nafs. A nafs is our lower self, right? And we have shaitan. And the nafs whispers and shaitan whispers. And so not everything that occurs to our brain is healthy. And some of it's just garbage. Just complete garbage. So we have to be very careful about our thoughts. Managing the thoughts. If you don't manage the thoughts, it's sort of like you're in your house and you just like, you know, it's nighttime and you're getting ready to go to sleep. You have your family, you have valuable things in the house, but you leave the front door wide open. You leave the windows wide open. And then robbers come in and you're like, wait, what happened? Well, whose fault is it? You left the front door open. You left the windows open, so a robber came in and took stuff that you care about. This is the problem with our mind. If we don't put, like, we don't guard our mind, our thoughts, and we don't guard our heart, then what happens is we're leaving it open to all these different suggestions. Suggestions of shaitan, suggestions of the nafs. And this will have a very poisonous impact on the condition of our hearts and the condition of our minds. Because shaitan is there pouring filth in our mind, and he will put lots of negative thoughts in our head. If we entertain these thoughts, it's like, so the robber comes in because you left the door open, and then guess what? You say, hey, have a seat. Have a seat, have some food. You know what I'm saying? Stay for a while. That's pretty insane, right? But that's what we do with these shaitani thoughts. Negative thoughts. Thoughts about Allah. Even negative thoughts about yourself. Don't think that you're holy because you're hating on yourself. That's not righteousness to have self-hate. Self-hate is actually from shaitan. I'm going to repeat that. Self-hate is from shaitan. These deprecating thoughts about yourself, that's not from Allah. That's actually shaitan, because shaitan knows that if you hate yourself, then you're not even going to have the energy to want to worship Allah or repent or anything. Because hating on yourself is like beating yourself. If someone's beat up, where's going to be their energy to do anything? They're going to become totally, paralyzed. And so self-hate, these thoughts, these bad thoughts about yourself, they're also shaitani. That also needs to be blocked. Those things need to be, don't allow those in. And then once they come in, you give it a place that you give these thoughts, you engage them, you even feed them. That's like taking a robber and feeding him. Like, here, have some food, get stronger. Stay a while. Here's a room. Here's a guest room. Go ahead and stay the night. No, you don't let these things in. You block these thoughts. A thought that is self-hating or a negative thought about Allah or about any of these negative thoughts, do not entertain them. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Replace them with positive thoughts. Do not feed negative thoughts. Realize that your brain, your mind, your thoughts, the suggestions that go into your heart, guard it like you guard your house. Guard it. You know what I mean? Keep it clean in there. Don't allow a robber come throw filth inside your house. Okay? So that's very, very important in staying positive. It's extremely important. What you think about, what you see, what you read, what you ingest. So far, what have I said? I've said just like with your body, what you eat, yeah? Same thing. What you're ingesting of data, things that you're reading, things that you're seeing, things that you're listening to. Manage these things just like you manage. If you want to be healthy, you manage what you eat. Okay? Same thing. And you don't starve. Don't only be looking at things that are useless. Okay? Because then you're not feeding your soul the food that's keeping it alive. And that's through the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So make sure that your diet is good, what you're ingesting, what you're taking in is good, and also make sure that you're not letting in these poisonous thoughts. Guard your house, your heart and your mind. All right? Number two is this. There's going to be fear. There's going to be things you're afraid of. And I'm just going to make this one really simple. Turn your fear into dua. Turn your anxieties into dua. Meaning, I'm scared of something. I'm terrified that XYZ is going to happen. Everyone has fears, right? Now, how do we typically deal with fear? What we typically do with fear is we feed it. How do we feed fear? By just thinking about it. And then all these scenarios come, right? I'm afraid of something happening to someone I love. So what I do is I think of all the different possible ways that something could happen to someone I love. I think of this scenario and that scenario. All I've done is I'm feeding the fear. I haven't actually solved anything. Instead of feeding fear, turn it into dua. That thing that you're afraid of, make dua about it. Simple as that. Immediately stop it, stop the thought, and then stop the thought, and then turn and focus that feeling of fear and anxiety into making dua. Ask Allah for protection. And then after you've done that, put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've given it to Allah. And don't keep feeding that fear. Make sense? Okay, number 3. Take your pain, so the things that happen in your life that hurt you, things that happen that disappoint you, and turn it into growth. So use those things that happen, take the lessons from them, and grow, and continue to become a better person. And let it make you more compassionate. See, the thing is about, if you look at all the prophets, peace be upon them all, they all went through challenges in life. And you know, one of the things that these challenges do for people is it increases their empathy. It increases their compassion for others. That when you've been through something tough, you feel for others. Yeah, you feel more mercy and compassion for others. Let it make you a better person. Don't let it harden you. Let it soften you. That when you go through difficulty, let your pain soften you, not harden you. And one thing I want to remind you of is this. There's a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ says, "Ajabun li amri al-mu'min." The matter of a believer is strange. Amruhu kullu khair. That all of his or her matters are good. If there's something that you want, is you're grateful, it's good for you. Something you don't want, something that hurts you, you're patient, is good for you. And this is only the case for a believer. Do you know what this hadith means? It means that no matter what happens to you in your life, as long as you respond with either gratitude or patience, is good for you. So you never lose. You actually never lose as long as you have faith and as long as you respond in the right way. So take your pain and turn it into growth and compassion, and let it make you a better person. One other thing is, be mindful about this focus on your painful past. On your painful past. As they say, the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. A place of reference. You look back at your past to learn from it, but you do not become consumed by your past, okay? You learn from it, but you don't become consumed. And then finally, my last piece of advice, number 4, is protect yourself. Have a shield of protection. And that shield of protection is through your dhikr, through your remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I told you that dhikr is food. Dhikr is food for the soul. It's also protection. When you look at the collection of dua, what is it called? Fortress of a Muslim. It's called Hisn al-Muslim. It's a collection of du'as that protect you. It's a fortress. So 3 things in the dhikr that I'm going to say. Number 1 is the salah. The salah has to be something that you don't compromise on. It's breathing oxygen, right? Number 2 is the adhkar. The adhkar is something you can download apps onto your phone for dua. My Dua is one example of a really great app. And what you can do is, after every morning Fajr prayer, open your app and read the morning supplications. Then after Asr, open your app and read the evening supplications. And before you sleep, read the ones for sleep. Okay? These du'as will absolutely revolutionize your state, revolutionize how you react to the world, how you live. It becomes a protection for you. As I mentioned, there's waswasa all the time from shaitan and from the nafs. This becomes a shield, these adhkar. And then the last part is Quran. Make sure you have a consistent relationship with the Quran, and this will be, part of the shield that protects you. Now, all these 4 things, I'm just going to recap. Be careful what you focus on, and what you focus on grows. Make sure, and what you focus on is affected by what you ingest, okay? By what you entertain, by your thoughts, and which kinds of thoughts you allow in, feed, entertain. Number 2, turn your fear into dua. Number 3, turn your pain into growth. And number 4, protect yourself through the dhikr, the adhkar, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم إنه غفور رحيم سبحانك الله وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
الأرض ميدان نسير